Stories today. First, the latest in the Russia investigation. White House National Security Adviser H.R. McMaster saying today evidence of Russian interference in the 2016 election is now indisputable.
As you can see with the FBI indictment, the evidence is now really incontrovertible and available in the public domain.
This after the special counsel handed down 13 new indictments to Russians charged with attempting to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. The 37-page indictment describes an unprecedented campaign by Russia to support Trump, disparage Hillary Clinton, and communicate with, quote, unwitting people tied to the Trump campaign.
The defendants allegedly conducted what they called information warfare against the United States, with the stated goal of spreading distrust towards the candidates and the political system in general.
The intelligence community pouring cold water on the president's claims the investigation is a hoax or a witch hunt. And new developments on the Florida school shooting that left 17 people dead. CNN has learned exclusively the confessed shooter was part of a private group chat that shows he was obsessed with race, violence, and guns. Plus, a shocking admission by the FBI. Someone called the agency's tip line January 5th, 41 days before the shooting, to report that the confessed shooter wanted to kill people, but nobody at the Bureau followed up. Let's get straight to CNN's Abby Phillip. Abby, what are you hearing from the White House on all of this?
Well, good morning, Fred. Those 13 indictments show, as H.R. McMaster said this morning, that there is undisputable proof that Russians meddled in the election and intended to sow discord in the election. But what we are hearing from the White House yesterday and today is one word or two words: no collusion. The president and the White House repeating this ad nauseum, really, in the wake of these indictments. The president tweeted yesterday, just shortly after those indictments came out, saying that the Russia started their anti-U.S. campaign in 2014, long before I announced that I would run for president. The results of the election were not impacted. The Trump campaign did nothing wrong. No collusion. Sarah Huckabee Sanders put out a statement shortly thereafter with collusion in all caps, a very Trumpian touch. But the president is only partly right in his tweet. Yes, the Russians did begin this effort in 2014, but in 2016, according to the indictment, their objectives shifted slightly, and they were ordered to help Trump by boosting him in social media posts and in other ways, and disparage Hillary Clinton. And also, as Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said in his press conference yesterday, these particular indictments do not say anything about these Russians and their actions having a direct effect on the outcome of the election, or that Americans were willingly participating in this effort. However, Robert Mueller continues with his investigation, and the special counsel probe is churning on. It did not end yesterday. We don't know, Fred, where that is going to go next.
All right, Abby Phillip, thank you so much. Let's talk more about post-13 indictments now. Let's bring in CNN senior international correspondent Matthew Chance in Moscow. So, Matthew, what more can you tell us about these people who have been indicted? And most people believe they will never actually be prosecuted in the U.S., but what can you tell us about them?
Well, I think that's probably a fair assumption. I mean, Russia constitutionally is not able to extradite its own citizens to other countries to face prosecution, and it certainly wouldn't do so with individuals that are so close to the sort of corridors of power in this country and so close to the Kremlin. Foremost among the 13 indicted Russian nationals is Yevgeny Prigozhin. He's dubbed in the local media here as Putin's chef because he owns a catering company that has the contract to provide the food to the Kremlin and other things. And he owns a load of other companies as well, some of which carry out very controversial tasks on behalf of the Kremlin, such as a private military company called Wagner, which provides forces to fight in eastern Ukraine and in Syria as well. And so he's a deeply controversial figure who has got very rich from his close contacts with Vladimir Putin. He's also the figure who is believed to bankroll, and this is what the indictment says, bankroll the Internet Research Agency, and that's its formal title. What we know it as is the Kremlin troll factory in St. Petersburg that has done so much over the past couple of years to, insert itself with its paid pro-Kremlin bloggers into internet chat rooms. It's organised, protests on the streets of the United States to try and foment kind of rebellion and chaos in the society and in the political system there. And again, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who's been indicted in this US Justice Department indictment, is the person who is believed to have bankrolled that. And so these are key figures who were involved in the allegations of meddling by Russia in the US election.
So reaction from the oligarchs, but then how about from the Kremlin?
Yeah, so there's been reaction, first of all, from Prigozhin. He said, look, I don't care about being on this list. Americans believe what they want to believe. They want to see the devil, he said, and I'm paraphrasing him, then let them see the devil, basically dismissing the allegations against him. Sergei Lavrov is the Russian foreign minister, and he retreated to the regular Russian position. When they're challenged on these allegations of meddling in the US political system, they deny it. Take a listen to what the foreign minister had to say earlier.
I have no response. You can publish anything, and we see those indictments multiplying, the statements multiplying. And I've also read the statement from Madam Manfra. I believe that is correct. She is the advisor to the Homeland Security head in the US, who denied the reports that any country has influenced the election results. And the same was said by Mike Pence just recently here, or maybe in another European capital. So until we see the facts, everything else is just blabber.
So denials, not unexpectedly, from Russian officials. But, despite the fact that this indictment sets out in minuscule detail the means by which it's believed Russia meddled in the US political system. I mean,